All right, thanks for joining everyone. So my name is Matt Edelhuber and I'm joined with Nathaniel Mulvihill and Keenan Crockett. As Jonathan said, we are part of the Microsoft US Health and Life Sciences business, and we are Converged Communications Customer Success Manager. So what that really means is we are focused on empowering healthcare organizations to achieve more with Teams Phone and Teams Meeting Room technology. So for today's conversation, we want to focus on the care team audience that includes providers, nurses, and the supporting care team members. We work with a lot of different organizations and understand that each organization can be different on how their caregivers collaborate, communicate, and coordinate care. So we are here to show you a few examples on how these types of caregivers might use Microsoft Teams Phone as part of their daily workflow. So let's talk about how a provider might use Microsoft Teams as part of their daily workflow. Our goal at Microsoft is to meet the provider in their workflow to help them gain efficiencies by removing technical burden so they can focus on patient care. So Teams provides a flexible mobile-first experience across devices from anywhere. We can provide a click-to-call dialing experience directly from the EHR to patients or other providers. We understand the EHR is where providers spend a significant amount, if not the majority, of their time. We understand the need to allow flexible caller ID options to protect the provider's private phone number and make sure that return inbound calls from patients are routed properly to avoid delays in patient care. For things like on-call rotation, we can provide an automated schedule-driven approach using Microsoft Teams call queues, as well as integrating with existing scheduling platforms. So if we take a look at the table in the upper right of this slide, we kind of break these different workflows down into two categories, basic and advanced. So we look at basic workflows as using kind of Teams directly out of the box, so to speak. So using Teams for things like chat and collaboration, as well as Teams meetings and Teams Phone for calling. But today we want to kind of dive into some of these advanced workflows. So like we mentioned, EHR click to call using Teams Phone, the on-call rotation with call queues, virtual visits, dynamic caller ID, and hybrid disciplinary rounds. Today, we're really going to focus on these three because these three exclusively use the Teams Phone workload. So let's talk about EHR click to call with Teams. What is this thing, right? What does it mean? So it is a new integration that we have with select EHR systems, and it allows us to integrate the EHR platform directly with Teams Phone. So this solution uses Teams deep links to provide that integration. And really what this capability provides is the ability for a provider to open a patient record within select EHRs. When they pull up that patient record, they see a phone number potentially in that record, and they can one-touch click that call, and the call will be directly utilizing Teams Phone to place that outbound call. So this can be used essentially anywhere where we have that EHR application coexisting with Microsoft Teams. Same device. Could be mobile, could be a desktop, could be a laptop, Android, iOS, Citrix. So we can essentially integrate where those two platforms can coexist. So really, the key benefits to this solution is providing that seamless voice dialing capability for the clinical staff for outbound calling to patients. We can mask the clinician's personal caller ID and mask their identity so the patient isn't calling them back directly. We want to make sure that we're masking the phone numbers with hospital mainline numbers, clinics, specialty clinics, right? So when the patient receives that call, they recognize that number and hopefully they answer it. We all know what it's like to get a number that we don't recognize, right? We might typically ignore that call. So we're trying to, prevent that. And then additionally, in the event of a missed call or a voicemail's left on the patient side, we want to make sure that the patient is calling back to the proper hospital, clinic, or specialty practice. So here's a real world use case on how we see EHR click-to-call being used with Teams Phone. So in this example, we have 4,000 providers that are utilizing mobile devices with a supported EHR mobile application, as well as other clinical applications to support their patient workflow and documentation. In this example, each provider is logging into an iPhone with their Microsoft identity. This is not a shared account. So when we use Teams Phone in this scenario, right, these are mobile phones, they're iPhones, and they are connected to corporate Wi-Fi, so they're not leveraging any cellular data plans. We add the Teams mobile app as a soft phone layer into the mix here. And at that point, the providers can open that EHR patient record, find the phone number, click on it for that automatic outbound dialing experience. In addition to the click-to-call scenario from the EHR, we can have regular calling capabilities. So maybe that's a Teams to Teams voice over IP call. Maybe it's a 6-digit dial to a legacy PBX where we have a physical phone, within a nursing unit, as well as, external, regular calling. So maybe the provider needs to call a pharmacy or whatnot. It's just a phone, right? And then we have all the, typical Teams Phone features, call forward, voicemail, all those things, right? That's all included as well. And then we can handle inbound calls. So if we do want that provider to receive an inbound call, we can absolutely do that. Typically, we just talk to our customers about, what is that expected workflow, right? If we're masking with a hospital mainline number, calls going back into the mainline number, right? How do we deliver that to the clinician if that's the desired approach there? So the main outcomes here are time savings, right? We're saving time by embedding the calling feature directly into the EHR, therefore decreasing the number of steps required to place that phone call. It's a one-click dialing experience, so it makes it easy, right? It's all direct from the EHR. There's no manual dialing or typing of numbers or flipping through applications, right? One click, call goes out. We do have a seamless integration with supported EHR applications, so it's quick and easy. And then it improves accuracy, right? So if the provider calls a number, there's no chance of transposing a number or something like that. So again, they click on the call goes out. And here's the demo on the right. So it kind of goes fast, so I'll play it again here. But essentially, what we have here is a sample EHR application. So in this example, right, the provider is on their mobile device. Let's say it's an iPhone. They open the EHR. They pull up a patient record or customer record. And in this case, we basically just click on the call member using Teams button. Again, this would be typically a phone number as well. And we see the call go out Teams. So it's really that simple. Nathaniel, you want to take us through Art of the Possible and then lead us into the next solution?
Yeah, so as part of our job, we get to work with customers directly to, solve advanced business challenges. In this scenario, we're trying to solve for provider and nursing workflow challenges. What the next use case we'll highlight was developed directly in partnership with one of our large provider customers. But what we really wanted to highlight here is if you, contact your Microsoft account and we want to work with you to solve your business challenges, we don't just want to put Teams Phone in place for your knowledge workers. We want to solve those advanced business challenges and help you be successful with the technology you've invested in. Go ahead, Matt. So what we did with our provider customer was develop an on-call scheduling application that augments the existing capabilities of our call queue within the Teams Phone system. So if you're not familiar with call queues, it's basically the ability within Teams phone to route a, maybe a main number and distribute it to a group of what we could call agents, but in this case, it would be a group of providers or nurses. And the nurses or providers have the ability to sign in and sign out of that call queue at the beginning of their shift and at the end of their shift. So what we did was augment that existing capability of sign in, sign out, and put an application in front of it with our Power Platform that automatically signs in and signs out the physician at the beginning of their shift and then at the end of their shift. So really what this provides is a seamless workflow for the clinical staff. There's no more worrying about signing in, signing out. It ensures that the queue is staffed at all times. So this can be built based on a schedule if you don't want an admin to do it, at the time of when they're coming on shift. So it ensures the proper staffing for the queue, ensure there's no delay in patient care. And we also have layered in, if you have a programming team, you can also automate the solution with Power Automate. So you could take your, say, QGenda or Chrono system, put it in front and pull the nursing schedules off of your Chrono system and push them into this application. So it's really a seamless experience end to end. There's no admin in front of it. End to end, it's just going to sign the doctors in and out of the queue based on their workflow. Go ahead to the next slide, Matt. So in this provider's use case, they built this application for their neurology staff for a telestroke consult. So their telestroke physicians were signed into a Teams call queue, and they receive inbound regional escalations for telestroke consults. One of the larger problems they had when they switched to Teams phone is, hey, we have to sign in and out of our call queues. Physicians are forgetting to sign in, or they're staying signed in after their shift, and it's interrupting their personal life and causing burnout within them. So we worked on building this application, again, ensuring the queue is staffed, automating that scheduling using, in their case, they had something called Lightning Bolt, pulling the automated scheduling data from that system and pushing it into the application. And then again, all of this is captured in a reporting log. So if you have an admin that needs to go in there and see what the physicians are doing, if they're answering the calls, if how many calls were missed or abandoned, all that's available within the Microsoft platform. Matt, did I miss anything there? And then we just have a short demo after this. It'll walk through the use case and then walk through really the interface of the application as an admin would see it.
Give me a thumbs up, assuming we get audio coming through.
So I forgot to put the link inside of the PowerPoint. I'll add it before it's sent out publicly. But this is available on GitHub. There's thorough deployment documentation. And if you have further questions about it, feel free to reach out to us. We can put you in contact with the product managers that built out this application and work on deploying it in your environment.
I think there was a little bit of audio issues for a few folks. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll, again, this will be posted out and then you guys can kind of re-listen to the video as well.
And we have other use cases and demos that we'll add to the deck before it gets sent out, but in the interest of time, we shortened it up a little bit.
Thank you, Nathaniel, for taking us through that. So yeah, the last kind of scenario that we just want to talk through here is more around just raising awareness to a newer feature for Microsoft Teams Phone. This is actually configured in the calling policy. It is in preview in all tenants. So this is available today, but essentially this is the ability to provide a browser screen pop, and you can essentially have any browser-based app open automatically upon an incoming PSTN call arriving. So essentially this can be used to pass the phone number of an inbound caller to an app associated with customer record while the call is taking place. So think about this for popping a CRM, like maybe Salesforce, for example. Otherwise, we have other customers that are using this to open Word, Excel, other custom forms that they've made for their organization and engaging with customers. But here's a super quick 30-second demo of just how this application works or this feature works in action. All right, before we dive into Q&A, just wanted to raise some awareness. Jonathan, you want to talk through this at all? Or
yeah, starting next week, invite should have already come out. You should have received it. We've got an amazing week of April 17th through the 21st. We're hosting a plethora of really great sessions. You'll see on the 18th, I just want to highlight that one for Teledoc and Solo as well. And we'll go deeper into the call queue scheduling app, right, Matt and team? So you'll see this familiar team again on Tuesday, the 18th. Sign up. It's free. It's a great way, and share it with your colleagues. So just doing a cheap plug for the Productivity Summit coming April 17th to the 21st.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And, we're kind of at the end, but yeah, I mean, we can take some Q&A. I mean, happy to try to answer any questions that were not addressed. Or Keenan, you're working the queue over there. Anything to call out?
Yeah, I mean, all good questions from everybody. I think there's a common theme of, what EHRs and, there's all scripts, there's Cerner reference. So, going back to this slide, use this link. If just so it's easy to kind of track the feedback from the session. Send us a note about all scripts if you're one of the one of them in the chat, or if you didn't put it in. And in Cerner, right, we'll reach out and we want to partner with you. It's some of these conversations, right, we align, and then we want to approach the EHR vendor together and talk about, how to get this in their views. Some of them maybe haven't taken that path to extend this, but it's, it's fairly flexible and fairly easy to extend. And we can also talk about other business line applications, not just EHRs. If you reach out to us, we're having some of those other conversations kind of in the payer space. So I'll leave it at that, but we look forward to partnering and talking more together.
That's great. If for those who just had some audio issues, if you want to kind of re-listen, again, we posted here in chat where you can, we'll post all these videos. You can go ahead and take a look. Again, Jonathan Wynn just also posted, please do sign up for our summit, some really amazing sessions that we're having. Anything else in here, guys? I'm looking through the chat as well, too.
Yeah. Please, if you want to send this to your colleague to sign up, please, the registration link is there. And if you've got perhaps a idea for a monthly community connection you'd like to see spoken about, just drop us a line at HLS CCT team@microsoft.com. Use that email address and you'll get to the team and we'll take up your suggestions. I see another question from Tyler.
Yeah, from Tyler. Nathaniel, you want to take Tyler's question? I think given your experience and what we've been talking about recently, that might be a good question for you.
Yeah, so just for awareness for everyone, I used to be a voice and video engineer in a healthcare organization before I came to Microsoft a year ago. And a large part of that was owning our infrastructure for unified communications. So what you're talking about with taking alerts from medical devices, also EHR systems, I'd be interested in what particular devices you'd like to integrate for notifications, but I think that's all possible. And that's really where we want to get with our healthcare organizations. And we're kind of on the tip of the iceberg here with Teams Phone. But where we want to take this is integrating all up so that your nurses and your medical professionals can spend more of their time in between Teams and their Epic applications, or sorry, not Epic, but EHR applications, and less time context switching throughout their day. So if you have an integration you'd like to talk about, we'd love to hear about it. We'd love to talk through how that could work with our Power Platform, et cetera.
Yeah, and if you do follow up, it's just the art of possible. We don't really want to leave with a phone technology conversation. It's workflow and put all the pieces together, right? And that's how on-call scheduling app and it's just a slightly different approach. That's really I think benefiting a lot of folks.
All right, great. Well, thank you, everybody, again. Thank you to our great speakers. We appreciate everything that you guys do, and everybody have a great rest of your morning and afternoon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, all.
Yeah.